Doctor Who The Big Bang, the 13th episode of Series 5. It's written by Stephen Moffat and starring Matt Smith, Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill. So the aspects of this episode is planned by Stephen Moffat, and he thought of The Big Bang as his favourite dirty Doctor Who joke, as it's a reference to the fact that Amy and Rory conceived their child on the TARDIS, which that night got revealed in A Good Man Goes to War. So The Big Bang begins with the 11th hour opening, where young Amelia Pond is praying for Santa to send someone to fix the crack on her wall. So she looks out the window, but this time there was no one there. So Amelia showed her psychiatrist and her Aunt Sharon a picture with stars, and her psychiatrist reminded her that there's no such thing as stars. So then she gets a letter from the doctor wearing a fez inviting her to National Museum, so her and Sharon went on the next day. So Amelia rushes past the stone Daleks and sees a Pandorica there. So after Amelia gets a note saying stick around, she finds a place to hide and ooh! She's doing an overnight challenge. So at night, Amelia came out of her hiding place and the Pandorica opens and there's adult Amy inside it. So after the title sequence in 102 AD at Stonehenge, Rory grieves over Amy, and I love the Doctor wearing the fez and carrying a mop. It's so iconic.
It's not the end of the world. Well, it is the end of the world. Actually, it's the end of the universe. Oh no, hang on.
So he gave Rory the sonic screwdriver to let the other Doctor out of the Pandorica, and the one in the fez is his future. Stephen Moffat found it interesting that the Doctor regularly experienced time out of order and was used to hold different kind of casualty. He believed that the Doctor would attempt to cheat and break his own rules to save the universe from collapsing. The time travel used in the episode is compatible with the theory of time travel, as the episode shows many time jumps. When the Doctor travels back to do things seen in the opening credits, Moffat decided to make it less complicated by allowing the audience to figure things out before they occurred. He did this by calling attention to the future Doctor in the opening scenes, by having him wearing a fez and holding a mop, and as the audience saw the Doctor later acquire these items, they would start to connect the events. Moffat mentioned the fez to Piers Wenger and Beth Willis. They were concerned about Matt Smith would become too attached to the fez and wanted to incorporate it into his costume, but Moffat assured him that he was planning on destroying the fez. Wenger later said Matt was one of the few people who can pull off a fez. After Rory finds out he's a Nestine, the Doctor grabbed a vortex manipulator and disappeared, while Rory kept Amy inside the Pandorica and guarded for around 2,000 years. Blimey, a couple who waited, and I think him and Captain Jack have something in common. Which also gives us the Lone Centurion Big Finish, telling us a story where Rory, the Roman, defends the Pandorica in ancient Rome.
I won't let her out of my sight, because that's what I do. On my own. Waiting for the love of my life.
Karen Gillan described Rory's vigil for Amy as the ultimate romantic gesture, which showed how much he loved Amy, and was where Amy realised how much she loved him. Stephen Moffat thought that standing guard for 2,000 years would make up for shooting her. So Amy looks at Amelia's height to learn that it's 1996. After the Doctor appears, they get chased by a stone Dalek, and there's Rory working as a night shift security guard and using the power of Auton to shoot the Dalek, and the Doctor grabbed the fez so everyone ran. The Dalek comes back to life with Pandorica still opening, and it's creepy the way the Dalek said restore. So the Doctor does what his future self in Fez did, tell Rory to let his past self out of the Pandorica, leave a note for Amelia, and snatch a coke off her hand. Then we get a scary scene where another Doctor appears and he fell as he died, which is his future. Then Amelia has disappeared as the history is still collapsing, but the Doctor, Amy and Rory are still there as their anomaly. They're at the eye of the storm. As they go on the roof, I love the bit where the Doctor rescued River by saying, "Hi honey, I'm home."
I'm home.
So they teleported out of the TARDIS and back to the roof, and I love the moments where River is like, "What in the name of sanity have you got on your head?" And the Doctor says he's got a fez and fezzes are cool.
It's a fez, I wear a fez now. Fezzes are cool. Oh!
But Amy decided to yank it off him and threw it in the air, and River blasted it. So then the stone Dalek arrived, so they ran back inside. Later, when the Doctor got distracted, he got exterminated. And I love the moment where River got the Dalek saying mercy. It's pretty effective.
Say it again. Mercy. One more time. Mercy.
So the Doctor's body got disappeared and he's ended up in the Pandorica, and Amy doesn't know what happened to her parents. In order to reboot the universe, the Doctor in the Pandorica is flying up the sky. As the time gets reversed, he's in the TARDIS. And I love his line when he said, "I escaped." I love it when I do that. I can get new fares. And there's Amy dressing up for holiday as they're going to Florida. So then the Doctor appeared outside Craig's flat where Amy left a note, and the Doctor sees a crack on the road right next to him. So the Doctor appeared in Byzantium and goes to Amy with her eyes closed so she doesn't get killed by weeping angels, and tell her to remember.
That's not the point. You have to remember.
Then ended up in 1996 and finds Amelia fall asleep in the back garden. So the Doctor carried Amelia into her bed and told her a story how he stole, or rather borrowed, the TARDIS. And the crack won't close properly until you step inside it. So he did, and Amelia woke up as her bedroom is empty. So in 2010 in the morning, Amy is surprised to see her mum and dad alive as they're getting ready for wedding. So while at Amy and Rory's wedding, Amy's dad does a speech, and Amy has got River's diary as she's walking past. So Amy shuts her dad up and told everyone about her imaginary friend, who is the Doctor. So then the TARDIS appeared, and there's the Doctor looking good in the suit and top hat.
Hello everyone! I'm Amy's imaginary friend.
But I came anyway.
And I love his dance when he does that.
Terrible! That's embarrassing!
That's it!
Brilliant. So after the dance, the Doctor meets up with River, and she says that the Doctor will soon find out who she really is.
You're going to find out very soon, man. And I'm sorry. But that's when everything changes.
Stephen Moffat had always intended for Amy and Rory to get married from the off, and describes the conclusion as a story of how Amy has been changed by the Doctor and the Doctor's success at restoring her spirit to the girl he first met, believing that a man could drop out of the sky and fix everything. However, he didn't return for her as he had promised, and she grew believing that he was a liar and couldn't be trusted. Amy returns to her original belief when she stands up at her wedding and proclaims that the Doctor is real and he will arrive. In the end, the Doctor in the TARDIS gets a call, something about an Egyptian goddess loose on the Orient Express in space, which later gets explored in Mummy on the Orient Express in Series 8. So Amy waves goodbye to her house, so Amy and Rory continued travelling with the Doctor. Another great episode. I do love Series 5. What did you think of this episode and Series 5? Let me know in the comments down below. Given David Tennant as the 10th Doctor has been popular for Nation and brought the show a wider audience, Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor is also exceptionally popular, closest rival to Tennant, lauded for bringing an alien, whimsical quality and an old man in a young person's body, combined with the fairy tale tone of this era, won over fans and also strong Gen Z.
The daft old man who stole a magic box and ran away.
Smith is also the first actor to play the Doctor to be nominated for a BAFTA award. Series 5 is often cited as a fan favourite season, with many ranking it as one of the best seasons of the modern era, while the overnight ratings declined compared to the first 4 series.
The 11th Doctor has arrived with his new companion Amy Pond and new sonic screwdriver. He's confronted Hawthorne and the terrifying Smilers. Exterminate! And saved planet Earth from a new race of Daleks. The Weeping Angels returned in the Maze of the Dead, but there were no...
When the action figures of the characters in the series came out, 6 of them came with the pieces of the Pandorica, with audiobook CD to build the Pandorica CD cube case, with 3 completed classic era stories, all 2-parter, which are the Auton Invasion, the Giant Robot, and the Cave Monsters.
Collect and build your own Pandorica CD cube case. Each 5-inch action figure includes an audio CD and a piece of the Pandorica, with 3 classic Doctor Who stories to hear. The Doctor Who Pandorica Collection.
From character.
Still fun to this day collecting figures with pieces, and sadly I never got to have all of them. As much as collecting Doctor Who Monster Invasion, a card game that's similar to Battles in Time, 9 each in silver packets, found in the Monster Invasion magazines.
The magazine is packed with facts, challenges, and awesome alien slamdowns, plus a guide to your amazing collector cards.
Which features the classic era all the way up to Series 6, with the rarities like the Doctor, Companions, Allies, Monsters, Villains, Adventures, Gadgets, etc. Series 5 gives us novels, including the new series Adventures such as Apollo 23, Night of the Humans, and The Forgotten Army. There's also novelization of some of the episodes.
Doctor, your interference is no longer acceptable, and your freedom is no longer efficient. You will be brought before me to explain your knowledge of the artifact.
Oh yeah, you and whose army?
We also have video games, including the Nintendo games Return to Earth and Evacuation Earth.
So we're in a time and space machine that can go anywhere in the universe, and you want to go to the Lake District.
Actually, there's lots of good reasons to go to the Lake District.
The Mazes of Time, a mobile game app. And also, the best of all...
No, impossible. You take control in Doctor Who The Adventure Games. Run. Download now at bbc.co.uk/Doctor Who.
Doctor Who The Adventure Games, an episodic adventure video games developed by Charles Seale and Sheffield-based game company Sumo, all written by Phil Ford and James Moran, and overseen by Stephen Moffat, with Smith and Gillen reprising their roles. The first game, City of Daleks, the second game, Blood of the Cybermen, followed by the third game, TARDIS, and the fourth, Shadows of the Vashta Narada. I'll have to admit, I played City of the Daleks for a little bit until the computer crashed, and I never got to play it again. Unfortunately, at the end of May 2017, the series was removed from Stream due to expiration of legacy games licensed with the BBC. Plus, I never played any Nintendo games, despite that I do see them in shops many times. Also, Doctor Who 2010 Prom, again featuring the music of Murray Gold, which performed on 24th and 25th of July 2010, is available for Series 5 box set, and it is fun to watch, and the first Doctor Who prom that I've watched. My favourite part is either I Am the Doctor or This is Gallifrey, where the screen shows all the Doctor's regenerations. The Monsters Are Coming, a stage show that starred Matt Smith, produced by BBC Worldwide, and featured video clips, special effects, creatures from the series, and music by Murray Gold, which broadcasted on 8th of October to 7th of November 2010, with Vorgensen, a time-travelling showman travelling around galaxy and spreading stories about the Doctor exploits, while using his Minister Gadget to conjure up the Doctor's enemies, played by Nick Planer, who gives off great performance.
The monsters are coming!
As always, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.